Welcome, everyone, to our first dive into a conspiracy in the dark corners of military history. We've all seen footage from the Vietnam War, tangled jungles, Huey helicopters overhead, and soldiers trudging through swamps. But what if there's a chapter of that war no one wants to talk about? A chapter filled with flying demons, reanimated corpses, and experimental night vision goggles that may have allowed soldiers to see things beyond our reality. Sounds insane? Maybe so, but the stories are out there. As I'm sure many of you will know, the standard night vision goggles we're familiar with from TV and other media have a distinct green hue. But way back in Vietnam, some soldiers were given unique red light night vision goggles. Now, as the stories go, multiple soldiers reported seeing the same demonic flying creatures swooping through the trees while wearing these night vision goggles, even while in so-called safe zones. Some of them freaked out so badly they opened fire on these apparitions, blasting away at these demonic beings that apparently shrugged off bullets. Command considered these men mentally unstable and discharged them with PTSD. Then, in a hush-hush move, the red goggles were allegedly yanked from service and buried. So, what's the official explanation? Some claim the red goggles used an experimental chemical composition of phosphorus. Over time, it may have seeped out, causing hallucinations reminiscent of a bad LSD trip. If that sounds wild, well, maybe it is. But it's important to remember that plenty of veterans have allegedly sued the military for mind-altering drug tests and chemical experiments in the past. And it's undeniable that moral lines in wartime can get blurry. So it's not impossible that soldiers were inadvertently, or deliberately, dosed with substances that led to nightmarish visions. But let's entertain another theory. What if the chemicals in those red lenses didn't create illusions? But in much the same way modern ghost hunting equipment helps ghost hunters detect spirits, it removed the veil between our world and somewhere darker? Think about it. Ghost hunters use different cameras and filters to catch glimpses of apparitions. Could the unique chemicals used in those red night vision goggles have given these soldiers a glimpse of actual demons? But this isn't the only paranormal claim from Vietnam. Far from it, and stick with me here, because it all links back to those demon-like beings soldiers thought they saw. GIs sometimes hired local guides, such as the Montagnards, who in turn told them about ghouls in the jungle. Now, in traditional folklore, a ghoul is sometimes seen as a demon-like being. This is maybe a stretch, but these so-called ghouls were supposedly reanimated corpses with solid black eyes, lurking in the dense foliage. Allegedly starting in 1965, American troops even began reporting these reanimated corpses with black eyes that attempted to capture unwary soldiers. In some encounters, these creatures were said to be bulletproof, similar to how demons are often believed to be immune to physical attacks. Now tell me, that doesn't make you think at least a little bit about demonic possession? However, the thick canopy jungle was the perfect haunt for these demonic ghouls, as it was so thick that some say the sun never touched these creatures. Not that I'm convinced the sun would have affected them, but allegedly this allowed them to move freely, day or night. Rumor has it that the US brass decided to counter this supernatural threat by taking out the jungles themselves using Agent Orange, a chemical herbicide and defoliant used by the US military during the Vietnam War. But some say they didn't stop there, even going so far as to incinerate them with napalm. Officially, these measures were about exposing enemy hideouts. But there are those who believe the true motive was to eradicate the demonic presence in the jungle. Now, were these ghouls, demons, heck even just zombies, or just local folklore twisted by war and fear? And how does this tie back to the red night vision goggles? Well, I'm glad you asked. There's a plausible theory that flying demons that were sighted through the red night vision goggles could have been the same entities as the reanimated corpses in the jungles, or rather their true forms, much the same as ghosts are often seen as shadowy figures or orbs of light without a physical form. Perhaps the red night vision goggles were able to view these demons' immaterial forms, preying on mortal souls in the chaos of war, while the black-eyed ghouls were corpses that had been possessed by these demons. But of course, this is where reality and myth collide. Were the red night vision goggles truly banned because soldiers were losing it? or due to unsafe chemicals within the goggles themselves? Or was the military covering up encounters with something beyond human understanding? Did Agent Orange and the napalm serve strictly strategic purposes, or were they used to burn out an ancient evil hidden under the jungle's canopy? The reality is, we'll likely never know. As always, the truth is elusive, but the rumors remain of men who swear they saw flying horrors and bulletproof corpses haunting the night. Perhaps it was mass hysteria, or perhaps in the mists of war, something older and far more terrifying briefly revealed itself. As always, let me know your thoughts and theories in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into history's darkest corners.